growing with God or walking with God in the social media age. So they're going to talk about that. This is Jemima, Kezia, Noah, and my mum Hannah are going to do the talk. So let's pray for them quickly. So, Lord, I bless these people up here to talk about you and like social media this time, and I pray you speak through them and like let the Holy Spirit move through them, so like it touches people in this room and everyone gets more of an understanding about what like youth are going through now. Amen. So here you go, Mom.
Why, thank you, my son. Thank you very much. Yeah, I think we're looking forward to having this discussion. We have got 3 questions which I think Justin has kind of primed these guys with that we will just kind of chat through, and I think we're going to chip in on each other, kind of put our thoughts across. We will, maybe chat for 7-8 minutes on each question, see how it goes, and then towards the end we're going to repeat the question, the 3rd question that we're going to ask, and leave it as a space for personal reflection at the mic, but I'll kind of set that up again when we get to it. So kind of looking at the discussions around social media, I think the title is around this being a social media heavy age, and I guess I was thinking about my own growing up and realizing that you guys are walking through something quite different to what we did a few years ago, not that long ago. And it's just really great to have your input, because I know social media impacts the vast majority of us to various forms, but we have not had to the older of us have not had to kind of grow up with it being a constant. And it's just, fascinating, helpful, really interesting to hear your insights. So I think, shall I just kick off with the first question? Lord, as Matt said, I just pray that you'll speak to us, through us, and in us just as a community all together this morning, that we'd learn something and take something away this morning that will draw us closer to you. So the first question was, how has social media changed the way that your generation communicates, learns, and spends their time? And I think, Noah, I was going to pass the mic to you to start.
So I think everything's on our phones nowadays, right? Everyone texts each other, we all check the buses on our phones, just everything we do, it's usually on the phone. And I think that makes it really easy when you're in a group of people that you don't necessarily know very well, or you're not that comfortable speaking with, to just reach for your phone and look busy, or find yourself drifting into scrolling or texting somebody who's not actually present in the room. You're looking for an escape into a different kind of world. You're not being present in the moment, and I think that's what I find often when I communicate with other people, or when I think.
Yeah, I would agree. There's such a comfort when it comes to our phones. I feel like it's a safety net for me. And I mean, I was quite late getting a phone compared to a lot of my friends. When I think about it now, I really wasn't that young or old getting it, but there was a couple years when my friends all had phones, and I remember feeling this deep sense of isolation, because we'd be at school all day together, and then they would all go home and they would be texting on this group chat, and then we'd get to school the next day and they'd all be talking about what they spoke about the night before. And I just think there's such a change in the way that we all spend our time now. Before, this is going to make my parents sound really old, but they would always tell stories about in the evenings they would all get home from school and they'd all be playing on the green outside and going over to each other's houses, and they obviously didn't have access to social media. They weren't able to talk on social media, whereas now for us, we come home from school and immediately get on our phones. I might have seen my friends all day at school, but I'm getting home and I'm texting them again, I'm on TikTok, I'm wasting my time. And I just think there's just such a difference in the way that we're not having these face-to-face interactions that people previously would have, I guess.
Yeah, I agree with, like, it has just become like a social norm just to try keep up with trends and follow certain creators and just like see the next coolest, newest thing. So like, I was also late getting a phone, or fairly late. So, and I also didn't have social media when I got a phone, so my friends did, and I like was begging my mum to see if I could download social media apps, and yeah, so I could keep up with my friends and yeah, see what they're all talking about. And I just think that's become a lot of pressure for especially people our age because there's always new things that people are talking about, and that I know I feel pressure to have to keep up and to try, like find out about, because it's like there are times that I have like deleted certain apps of social media like TikTok or Instagram, just to get a break from it, and then all of a sudden people are talking about all these trends that are coming up, and then I feel left out, and then I feel the need to have to keep up, and then I re-download it, and then get into that cycle of just getting lost in social media and just scrolling. So I feel.
So are you saying then it feels like it sucks your time? Do you find it really hard? Like, I know you say you kind of come in and you reach your phone straight off. Do you find it hard to kind of put it down at times, or how do you?
There's times that it's actually embarrassing. There's times that I find myself like just automatically going on my phone and just like clicking on an app on social media. It's like just automatic. It's like I don't even think about it. It's so bad that I've just gotten in that habit of just immediately checking to see like the newest updates on social media.
How do you come to an end, or how do you, if you start scrolling, then what brings you back into the present? Or I think it's so easy to be pulled in and addicted and just keep doing the next wee short, or keep flicking and sliding the next one. Have you got any tips, or what have you learnt?
A time I had a big break from my phone was just because of exams, because I couldn't be on my phone. So it's bad again now, kind of, because I've finished my exams, so now I'm just going back on my phone. But I think even though the stress of exams really got to me, I was on my phone a lot less. So I think because of that, stress of exams, I didn't have to. My phone was a distraction, so I've just put it away. There was times I just didn't charge it, so I didn't have to go on it, and then. During that time, I could also connect with God, so I saw myself reaching for my Bible more, and then also talking to other people more, instead of just reaching for my phone. So I guess even though like exams were negative and like stressful for me, it was beneficial because I wasn't on my phone as much. So even just that distraction of that event being there, it made me not have to go on my phone as much.
I'd also say like it's really difficult to stop scrolling or whatever, because there's all these trends that are going about. I know your friends are talking about these things, but it's also where we get like a lot of our news about what's going on in the world. Like we don't watch the news, we don't read newspapers. Like it's where we get our information. And so then when we're all, you got your friends come together and you're talking, and then like, oh, did you see that this has happened or whatever? And then if you've not been on your phone on Instagram or whatever, you've not seen it, and you're like, oh no, what's happened? And then you feel a little bit left out, and you're like, it's difficult to then get back into the conversation. And so I feel like, although we all like scroll and it's all good fun, it's where we get a lot of our news, which makes it,
You get any insight, Jemima?
I mean, like, I guess people often say to us, like, oh, social media is addiction. And I think a lot of teenagers these days try to say, like, no, it's not, we're not addicted. But I think it's almost impossible not to be, because you're constantly being fed with new things. Like, I know there are times that I will, like, be sat on my bed, I'll get home from school, and I'm scrolling through TikTok, and, like, all of a sudden hours pass, and I don't really know what time, like, I don't know where the time's gone. I do think it is a really, really difficult thing to try to get off social media when, like, everyone's on it. Like, I think there's also such a need to fit in with everyone else. So, as Kezia says, I'm constantly in a battle of deleting TikTok, reinstalling it, deleting it. And I think that does just come from a pressure to fit in and everything. And I have found that my periods of being off TikTok I get more done with my time. So even though that's quite an extreme way to get off social media, to like banish the apps completely, it does help. So yeah.
I love the idea of just not charging your phone. That's quick. It's like, Kezia's just disappeared. But I guess it's a physical barrier, isn't it, to then not being just that quick action of just kind of getting online and connecting with people. I was kind of finding it interesting you saying about you wouldn't go and knock on anybody's door. Like, because I guess I see you guys, I know some of you fairly well, but I think you are a great, I guess you hear stories of people nowadays being like kids these days, they seem to be in a room, but they're not really present. All they have to, they're just kind of like on their phones all the time, and then maybe every now and again they'll just be present in the room, and then it'll be straight back on their phones. And I know you kind of mentioned it's kind of it's a social protection too, because at times when you're like, I am in an awkward situation, it's really helpful to have somewhere that you can disappear to and not be like, I'm Billy No Mates and I'm not really sure how to hold myself or who to have a conversation with. But I see you as a group who do know how to interact brilliantly. You have great friendships. So I think whatever you're doing, I know there's a struggle, but you're doing all right. You're a great bunch of people. But you would say that actually it's really helpful sometimes to arrange things with people. Like, it's not necessarily that you're not, like, okay, you may be connecting with your friends online, but it is that you are still making arrangements to go and see people and do things.
I would just say there's a very different approach to the way that we hang out now. Like, as you said, I would never go and knock on someone's door asking if they wanted to hang out, because I feel like I'm intruding on their personal space. Like, that feels like a barrier, and it's like I shouldn't cross that. Whereas like now we're always just texting people, asking if they're free, like, which is obviously such a difference to the way people used to be, because they didn't have phones. They couldn't just send a quick 1-second text asking, oh, are you free next Saturday to do something? So I do think we are still very connected as a generation, and we still have those face-to-face contacts, and we are going out and seeing people, but it's just the way we approach it, and maybe sometimes the amount of time that we do it has changed. It is a difference.
Yeah. That's really helpful. I've got more questions I'd want to keep asking, but I'm aware we kind of just keep an eye on time. So if it's all right with you, can I ask the second question? And we'll see what comes up with that. So our second question is around, it says, in what ways does social media influence your walk with God? Now, here's a good one to start. Can I pass I think you're going to start, Jemima, weren't you, on this one? But
yeah. So I would say comparison's a thing that every single person deals with, no matter like what form that is, whether that's you're comparing your grades, you're comparing what you've achieved in your life, you're comparing your looks to other people. And I think social media has only heightened that. So before, people would be able to, you compare yourself to your friends, your family, and your life. But now we have access to, seems like an unlimited amount of people, and there's always going to be someone that's doing more than you. There's always going to be someone in your mind has achieved more. There's always going to be someone that's got better grades. There's always going to be someone that you think looks better than you. And I think that has been a really, really challenging thing for so many people, especially for me. I've find myself not appreciating my life. Like, I think as soon as you start comparing yourself to others, you stop appreciating your own worth and appreciating what you actually have in your own life. And I think that also creates so many challenges, because you stop, like, God has like made your life the way it's meant to be, and I think you stop realizing how much good is in your life and how much like He's made your life the way it's meant to be, and you stop appreciating. You start maybe getting angry at Him and being like, well, God, so and so's doing this. They've got so many more opportunities. They're doing better than me, and I think that's a really, really challenging thing. Yeah.
Just going off of that, like with comparison, I myself follow a lot of like Christian creators, content creators who do post like really inspiring and encouraging sermons or words that I find really helpful. But then, like with them posting that, they're mainly posting like the good parts. They're not posting the flaws. So then, for me, I find it really easy to then compare my Christian life to theirs, like because I'm not seeing the flaws and the imperfections in that. I'm only seeing like the good parts of their Christian life. So I find comparison really like I find myself really comparing my faith like to theirs, because they seem like they have kind of like a perfect Christian life. So I find myself doing that a lot.
I'd also say, like, there's all these people online who are like Christian creators, and it's great because you get loads of different viewpoints about different issues, and you can decide what you think is best, and it's good. But then, yeah, like, you only see the best side, because every time, like, if I go to post something online, I will always try to make myself look the best I can in it, or try to make it seem like there's like no flaws, there's nothing wrong with me. And then so when they do this, they're doing the same thing, and it's really difficult to then like think of yourself in the same way as them, because they look so perfect in this video, whereas I know that I'm not perfect, and then I just start comparing and being like putting myself down. Yeah.
Do you find with your relationships within Liquid, like, I guess you meet Tuesdays and you meet Sundays and sometimes in between, like, do you find that's a very different relationship to, I guess, when you're interacting on social media with people? Do you feel like you can be more real? Do you feel like you know each other on a deeper level?
I mean, I always think face-to-face interactions are going to be more fulfilling than, I mean, first of all, ones that you have over a screen, but also ones that you don't even know the person behind the screen. I mean, I do think that it's very natural to feel comparison in a like Christian world. Like, no matter if you know the person or you don't, like, you're always going to be surrounded by people who maybe feel like they have stronger faith than you. But I do think that sense of comparison is because you know more about the person's life, you know more about the ups and downs, whereas, as they've both said, you see a 15-second clip of a whole week. You only ever see the highs most of the time. So I think it is easier to kind of ground yourself when you're surrounded by people that you actually know and be like, okay, yes, they're strong in their faith, but they have so many other things going on in their life. It's not just this amazing video that's really not a proper representation of how the week's actually gone for them.
Yeah, that's great.
So I was going to say, it's also easier, I feel like. People are more comfortable pointing out the negative aspects, like comments, for example, on TikToks or Instagrams. People will like poke at the negative sides like of that TikTok, whereas in person, people are more scared they'll be more uplifting, but online, people aren't afraid to like be horrible and yeah, like spread negative comments.
So it's almost that you forget the person behind the comment or behind the video and forget that they'd be reading it. And I guess, do you think then, would you feel that you have a responsibility or a call, like, when you're online, to counteract that, or to speak of God's goodness into situations, or I don't know, how does that impact you if you see lots of negative comments or?
Yeah, I feel like for me, it's almost like when I see those negative comments, I want to do something about it. Like, I feel like really sorry or like bad for the person that I'm seeing, but it's almost like that pressure again. Like, I want to act, but I'm scared then how that's going to reflect on me. I'm scared that's going to come back at me if I do something. So I feel like, it all kind of leads to that pressure of like other people. So I'm scared, like, if I was to then do something to try reach out to that person that was like being negatively affected by these comments, that it would then kind of bounce back to me.
Anything you want to add on that one, or are you?
I was kind of bouncing back on a point that Noah said earlier. He said this, like, you have so many different opinions on TikTok, which I think can be a really helpful space for Christians, because, you know, you're learning about so many different viewpoints when it comes to Christianity. But I think, especially for people who are new to Christianity, or even like people who have quite a firm faith, I think it's very difficult to like decide what to believe in when you have so many different opinions, and a lot of them are contradicting each other. Like, you'll have two people on completely opposite sides, and I think it's so difficult for people to think what they actually believe rather than taking whatever someone said on social media and be like, okay, well, they said that, so I should believe that too. And I think that is just like, we need to like come back to our Bibles and read that, like discover what we actually believe in. And then those videos can be really helpful to help develop what you actually believe in and being like, no, that's not what I believe. I think it's great that other people have those opinions, but I have a completely different opinion to that. So I think it is a very difficult thing to like separate the two sides of like what we believe in and what other people believe in.
Yeah. What this is, I guess, is kind of an aside, but I guess the distraction, the negativeness of social media. What about that? The way that social media and the internet then can reach the far reaches of the world now. How does because it sounds like you, Kezia, then kind of can take you receive a help if you can filter it and be like, actually, this person is not perfect, but they're kind of trying to encourage me in my walk. This is what they're kind of learning from God. Do you think that there is? Do you think it's a good and a positive thing that actually people can across the world be impacted by the gospel and by maybe people's comments to videos or what?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think that as much as there are negative comments out there, and sometimes that can also encourage people to then just ignore these and still be themselves and not care what other people think. And I know for me that, many Christian content creators are really influential for me. And even though I see negative comments on, I see that they choose to ignore them and they keep posting what they're doing and they're not caring what other people are saying because they know that that is going to benefit other people like me.
It's so great that social media can reach everywhere across the world because there's so many people that are like oppressed and they have just this place where they can get people who are willing to support them and they know that there's people out there that will support them. And I think that can be so good in like getting hope to people and letting them know that it's not like there are people out there who don't like, I don't want to say hate on Christianity, but they do. And then so knowing that there are people who are willing to help them and are trying to help them gives them just so much hope, and I really like that aspect of social media.
Thank you very much. Whenever I was doing a little bit of thinking about this, I had stumbled across somebody who had rewritten or kind of added in brackets like the Sermon on the Mount from the Message version. And I think it was just really interesting to see. I think just thinking about our responsibility as we're on social media as Christians and believers in Christ, and how we then portray ourselves online, and that just sense of being like, I am who I am in person, and I should be the same following Christ online as well. So I think it was just, Google it, you'll find him somewhere. I think just he'd put on like Sermon on the Mount, and he'd kind of gone through and be like, I can't think of any examples, but it was very helpful to be like, it applies to all aspects of our life, like whether we're in person or we've got a digital presence as well. Shall we try the next question? Is everybody still with us? Thinking of your own comments and thoughts and mulling things over? What habits, whether helpful or not so helpful, have you developed around social media in your walk with God? We didn't practice one, so it's going to be fresh to me, whatever you come up with. And if you haven't come up with any, shall we all do it together afterwards? Try and learn from each other.
I know one not so great habit that I have that I keep doing is, when I go to sleep, I put my phone next to my bed. So the first thing I do when I wake up is grab my phone and then automatically go on to some form of social media just to check what's new. That's just a habit that I've started doing, and I just feel like that can affect the focus for the rest of my day. I'm not that's what's in my mind, so then that's going to keep coming up in my head throughout the day. I'm not focusing my mind on God in the morning, but instead I'm just going on to social media, and then that affects my focus. Unless it's like I said, I do follow Christian creators, so then sometimes I do see in the morning inspirational Bible verses or devotionals that come up, and when I see them, that's an encouragement. But
So I like to try to read my Bible every day, right? But I often find that in the times where I have time in my day to read my Bible, I look to my phone instead, and I'm like, I'll just scroll for 5 minutes. and then at 12:15 I'll get off my phone and I'll start reading my Bible, and then 12:15 hits and I don't stop scrolling because I'm just caught up in, I don't know, whatever's happening, and then it reaches 12:30 and I've still not read my Bible, and then it reaches 1 o'clock and I'm like, oh, I don't have time anymore to read my Bible, so I'll read it tonight. And then when it comes to me getting ready for bed, I feel like I'm really tired, and then I'm like, oh, I'm too tired to read my Bible. I'm not going to gain anything from reading this. I'm just going to go back on my phone and I'm going to watch an episode of something, or I'm going to scroll even more. And I find that's quite difficult because it means I can go days on end where I haven't read my Bible. I've been wanting to do it, but I just don't, like, I've got the time to do it, but I just can't bring myself to read it. And I think there's something about, like, reading the Bible, it can be, because you don't do it often, it can then become like it feels like a chore, and I don't like how it feels like a chore for me, and I feel like I really want, like, instead of scrolling, to just be able to read.
I would also say, for me personally, a lot of the times I'll go on my phone to, like, I don't know, check the weather or check the time, and all of a sudden I just end up on Instagram, and I don't even know, like, I don't even remember my fingers pressing on the app. It just opens and it's there. And this happens, like, throughout my whole day, like, and I also forget, like, how frequently I open the app. Like, sometimes I'll be on it and then I go and start reading my book again, and all of a sudden I'm on it again and I refresh it and nothing's changed because I was literally on the app about 2 seconds ago. And I mean, obviously it's a huge distraction from everything, but I also find it happening, sometimes it happens in church sermons. I'll be looking at my phone to see what time it is, and all of a sudden I'm on Instagram and 5 minutes have passed and I've got absolutely no idea what anyone's just said, and then the whole, like, rest of the sermon
just looking around the room, anybody on Instagram at the moment?
the whole rest of the sermon just seems pointless. So I'm like, well, I don't know what they're speaking about anymore. And I find this when I read my Bible as well. I'll get, like, distracted. I'll have a thought and maybe I'm going to search something up on Safari because I'm not sure about what this passage in the Bible means, and then again I end up on social media. And I think that's just a constant cycle of going on my phone to do something that's useful and ending up in something that's completely opposite and has absolutely no benefit to what I'm actually meant to be doing.
We need help, don't we? With, like, what's the answer? Like, I think it's the same. Like, I think we're all distraction, whether it's social media or whether it's, like, thinking that you've got a list of things to do in the house. It's where our attention's pulled, and actually God's saying, come and spend time with me. Just come and hang out and let me, I think you think of it as, the still small voice. It's Ezekiel, isn't it? And just that Jesus saying that God speaks sometimes when there's not a lot of other noise going on. And I think we're so easily pulled with the, like, oh, I've got my to-do list to do. Whereas he's just like, just come and hang out, just spend time. So we've got where the phone is in the morning, not being a helpful habit. We've got, I guess, just using the phone for helpful things, but then it just being so easy to access. And I guess then trying to carve out time with God, but then they just easily distracted and then time disappearing. Any other thoughts of what did we say, helpful or unhelpful habits?
I mean, so during exam leave, and I've done this for all of my exams, I grow trees on my phone. I have this app which blocks off every single app on my phone except for the ones that I choose to go onto. And this started off being a habit for my exams because I'll grow a really nice tree and I get a nice garden, but then I also, sometimes I will go on my phone to check something or change my music, and I would find myself again on social media when I was trying to revise. So that was an effective way for me revising. But I've started to try use this at other points in my life as well, not when I'm just doing exams. So it started off when I was reading and stuff, when I would, be reading my book and then I'd end up on my phone again. So I've kind of been trying to, start blocking off apps during more daily tasks if possible, or whether that's reading my Bible as well, because it means I have so many less distractions. So even if I want to get distraction and want to go on social media, I don't really have that opportunity. So yeah.
Does that mean you setting up, you being intentional and being carving out time where this is this app is inaccessible?
Yeah, so
Can you
I can-
override that, or does somebody else get the password then? Or
I can, but then I kill a tree, and it makes me really upset when I kill a tree. So, so I mean, it can literally be a 5-minute focus that I've put on, or it can be up to 3 hours. So during exam leave, I'd have like a 2-3 hour focus when I couldn't go on my phone. But then sometimes it's more like tasks, like doing my Bible or reading my book. I'll put it on for like a 20-minute focus, and it just carves a little bit more time out, like focused time of the day.
What I've found recently is helpful for me is if I put on some music in the background, because it's coming from my phone, and I get a speaker or whatever, and I just put on some music, and then if I'm to go on my phone or to go onto Instagram, the music will stop playing, and so then I just feel like, oh, I need to come off this as quickly as possible, and I can get back to whatever I was doing. I don't know how that works, but that's what I find really helpful for me. Yeah, so it clicks for me there.
I find, because I'm quite a people person, I love meeting up with people, so I feel like when I'm in like a church environment or a liquid, I'm actually not on my phone as much. I don't feel the need to have to go on my phone. That's what I feel personally, but so, I find when I'm with people and like in church and things, I don't have to automatically reach for my phone. I feel like it's more when I'm on my own than I go on my phone because I don't know what else to do. But when I'm with other people, then I don't feel the need to go on my phone as much.
thank you. That's really helpful. That's really, really helpful. Have you got anything else that you're kind of burning to say and I haven't asked you, and you just want to chip in? I think that we've kind of covered everything. I was just, again, just give a little bit of space for people and to come up just to share their own experiences. So the question, I think, is up there. It says, what habits, whether helpful or not, have you developed around social media in your walk with God? And it's a space for personal reflection. So just, very much what is it that you have done or not done that helps or doesn't help you walk with God? And just come up to the mic. You will be online if you come up to the mic. If you don't want to be on our live stream, then maybe you could just post something in the chat on Zoom, and just 1 or 2 minutes max, just a very short, because and then we'll be kind of closing up. So what habits, whether helpful or not, have you developed around social media in your walk with God? We all need to learn and help each other out. I think it's a minefield, isn't it? Chica? I think you might need to turn it on. Does that mean you've not pressed the button, Chica? I love it. Is Sean going to rescue you? No, not yet. You can have this mic if you want. Oh, yeah.
Yes, so what I started recently is I've just kind of, since January, created a WhatsApp group between myself, friends, because I find it last year reading the Bible, and I've just tried to keep myself very accountable just now. Since January, we created a WhatsApp group, community of 21 people, and every 7 p.m. we read the Bible together. We are on 150 days just now, so it has helped me with my work with God and just reading the Bible and keeping me accountable every 7 p.m. to read the Bible.
Brilliant, thanks, Chica. So that's a WhatsApp group that you just then gather at 7 every day just to read a bit of the Bible and chat on WhatsApp to help you with walk with God. Thank you, that's really helpful. Elspeth?
There's just 2 things that came to mind as you guys were chatting, because I think obviously I'm not in the same age bracket as you guys, but I think there's a lot of what you're describing which is really relatable to me as well. And I think especially that so many social spaces now are online, and also so many tools are there, and then it's so easy to get sidetracked. So one thing that came to mind that I found really helpful was during Lent one year, what I gave up was one of the social media apps that I used, and that was the difference that I noticed in my life was so stark that I actually haven't I haven't gone back to it because I just thought, wow, I really see the impact of not having that in my life anymore. So like, yeah, using Lent, I suppose, in that period of fasting something to kind of establish that routine and establish that habit was really helpful for me. And the second thing was I started using an app that's been made by 24/7 Prayer called Lectio 365. If you guys might use it too. And that's one of the things that I've integrated into my daily kind of rhythms, which I find a really helpful thing to use. Yeah.
Thanks, Elspeth. That's great. Really good. Lectio 365 and Lenten culling of social media apps. I think there's definitely something maybe about like having, like, again, as I'd been listening to stuff online about sabbaticals, or not sabbaticals, like Sabbaths, like having social media Sabbaths. Like, it seemed like quite a lot of people were kind of doing that, being like, actually, this is the day I'm not going to go on anything, and being able to speak to God a wee bit more easily. Justin?
Yeah. It was just feedback. It's just really refreshing to hear just an honest take of what social media is for you guys. And I think, I'm in a position where I can't hide anything because I have kids here too. So if I'm saying I'm really good at this, then they'd be like, no, Dad, you're guilty of everything that they said too, which is true. But one just little tip that I find, and it's interesting how all our little tips are quite individual. And I think, that's also just a testament of how social media is quite a big thing, so it's going to be quite an individual approach. But for me, one thing I find really helpful is like kind of sculpturing my media feed. So whatever social media you engage with, it obviously has an algorithm that's trying to push on you. So what I try and ask myself is the things I'm seeing helpful? I mean, to be honest, stepping back a little bit, I noticed a particular point a few years ago where I started being fed things on my social media that were really unhelpful. And maybe some of the ways that they've built stuff is just not that great. So I was kind of engaging that, going, well, this is, I'm starting to see stuff that I've never seen before, and this is, what do? Do I delete it? So I actually chose to engage with it and hit it head on and start saying, I don't want to see this. Most apps have something you can connect with and go, this is not helpful, or I don't want to see this, I want to see less of this, or I'm going to unfollow this person. So for me, it was a little bit of trying to engage with it and going, actually, is this helpful for me or is it not? And it's a work that it was actually hard to do. And then over time, you start seeing that your social media streams are a bit better, or a bit more contribution. But anyways, just one thing.
Yeah, that's helpful, really helpful. Because I think, it just feels like then the system just gets you. If you click on something, then it starts to push more and more at you. But actually, you're saying you can positively desubscribe to things, or just kind of click them off, and it should then catch the hint that's out eventually. Cameron?
There's a few things that, we've started instituting bringing back alarm clocks into our house. So instead of a phone, we have an alarm clock how we used to. And they're very cheap and they work. The other thing, which is actually, I got this from a book, a John Mark Comer book, Ruthless Elimination of Hurry. Okay, so you take your phone. If I have an iPhone, so what you can do is you go to accessibility and you go to color filters, and you turn it to grayscale, and the desire of pulling out your phone and looking at it, and it's so like, oh, ugly. This is better. You're better. All of this is better, and so it's a good strategy if you want to reconnect and stop isolating yourself with a thing that kills your soul.
Brilliant. So go back to black and white. Thanks, Cameron. Brilliant. Sean?
All the tech people coming out. So I think something powerful about social media that you can form into a habit is community building. So we have a presence online via social media here at CCE. So my family is here because y'all post to YouTube. Basically, we could check y'all out and get a piece of your culture. And you can do that wherever you are, right? It's a little cringe, but like my generation is using LinkedIn like they used to do on Facebook. So like I can now see what some of like my coworkers' real thoughts about topics and opinions in different spaces. So back in Dallas and in Czechia and in like London, there's like these people that I know that are posting on LinkedIn, and I'm like, this is weird. But instead of kind of ignoring it, which I have done for years, like I'm actually engaging with it a little bit because these are people I know, and these are people that I can make an impact on. And similar, like wherever you are in life, like whether it's making a Minecraft server, like David does here, actually, or whether it's a Discord server, like you can form your own community. So similar to like engaging with the feed, like Justin was saying, don't just be used by the tools, like you use them. And like you strip them of their power by turning off the things that are predatory and awful, because there are a lot of them. And I know too much about that stuff. But you can create spaces where you are either like holy sacred spaces where you're actually building the kingdom of God, because it's really just connecting ideas with people. Or they're like spaces for play, right? Whether it's a Minecraft server or a Discord server to hang out. And I think that's very powerful and underrated, right? I think a lot of us get captured by the headlines because there's an agenda there and like we want to foster some kind of animosity. But you can just like ignore it and live a peaceful life. And like there might be some place of technology that's like, okay, like this is where my like crew hang out to do this. And there's similar work you do in physical space of safeguarding to make sure that that place that you're making is like well moderated and well taken care of, so that people there actually achieve the goal that you have for that space, which could be again to play or to like espouse deep theological things, like whatever it is, right? Like the point is you decide what you want to do with it, but you have to be aware that there's people on the other side who have a goal for you as well. And so sometimes you can decide like this platform, nope, their goals are too misaligned, right? And that's back to the Facebook, LinkedIn thing. Like Facebook is like, their goals are too far gone. Like I'm completely off of it. Nothing good comes when I'm back on Facebook, so I just don't do it. It's off my phone. I only have it because some family back in Texas still use it. And so if Nikki is like, hey, look at this, like there's some news about the family, and I can go see it. And so now, but the LinkedIn stuff with the coworkers has replaced that. So it's weird, it's wacky, but be aware, it can be used for good.
Thanks, that's really helpful. Like really good spaces, but also I think it's the navigating and the driving and keeping it safe. Because I think we were saying, because I'd asked if you had negative comments from things that you'd posted, but you said that you'd been careful about not making public accounts yet. So I think, I guess it's just being aware of that. There is some controls. We can be in control. I don't know how to be in control, so I'm just not on it. So, Joss.
I was thinking a little bit about some of the ways that I interact on Facebook and some of the how I use WhatsApp. And sometimes what I try and do is, if I come across something on Facebook or I'm chatting to somebody on WhatsApp, I try and use that opportunity to pray for the situation that's come up on Facebook, or the person that I've seen a message from on WhatsApp. And I think that has helped me to turn it into something more positive, rather than trying to maybe have a comment or it's given me a way to connect meaningfully and prayerfully with something that feels quite, at times, quite toxic. So, yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Joss. Bringing God's kingdom into things, and I guess you benefiting from it as well as the prayer bowls being filled up for that situation for somebody else. Yeah, thank you. Go on, Katrina.
So my parents have helped me in this. I used to have really strict screen time, and it was like, now I don't have screen time, and it's actually helped me a lot, but they used to have a certain downtime where I couldn't use my phone at all. But the way that that's helped me is that now when I wake up, I usually do exercise as soon as I wake up. Like I wake up, I have breakfast, and then I go out. So yeah, that's really helped me. And I just, thank you, Jemima, I just downloaded the Grow a Tree app. So,
In the service, Katrina.
yeah, so that's going to help me. Thank you, Jemima.
Great. So good. Yeah, so good. Thank you very much. I think just want to say thank you so much, each of you, for taking the courage to share, like Justin said, just honestly and openly about what helps, what doesn't help. And I think just opening up a chat between us all and for us all to have a think about how can we use it for our benefit, as Sean was saying, and for the glory of God, as Josh was saying, without it pulling us away from the precious relationships that we have got round about us and the face-to-face interactions, but also our love and our walk with God. So really grateful. Thanks, Justin. Thanks, all of you youth, because I'm sure you've probably all been talking about it a wee bit as well in Liquid sessions. I think, give a big clap. Thank you very much. We're drawing towards the end of our service, but we thought let's gather to do some more worship again. Can I just pray before, as the band just comes up, we'll just pray. Jemima's multitasking today. Lord, thank you so much for this time and this space that you have put us in, that we have been born in Edinburgh, planted in this church. We've been put in our families for your good purpose. Thank you that you love each of us, all of our uniqueness, all the ways that we reflect you. And all we do, we just commit our lives to you. We all, our heart's desire would be to draw closer to you, to see you working in our lives, to be, to know that we are an impact, we are salt and light to this world around us. And I just pray that you'd give us wisdom as we navigate social media, as we navigate this digital world, as we navigate face-to-face interactions, that you would flow in us, flow through us, equally in each area and aspect of our lives. May you give us nudges this week if there's places and times that we know we are distracted and that we could be using our time differently and more honouring to you. Would you help us guard what we see and what we allow our ears and our eyes to take in? Would you help us to understand the tech and to put barriers and boundaries in where we need that help? Would you open up doors and places where we could be accountable to each other as well if we're struggling? Or just, dwell in us as a community, live in us.